If you work hard, stay busy, and still feel financially stuck, you're not imagining it. You were told that effort equals progress and that consistency alone would eventually lead to freedom. But for millions of people, effort has turned into exhaustion, not wealth. This isn't a personal failure. It's a structural one. Most people are playing a game they don't understand. They follow rules designed for stability, not growth. These rules reward compliance and reliability, but they rarely reward leverage. And leverage, not effort, is what creates financial acceleration. Hard work is not useless, but it's incomplete. Effort without direction simply burns energy. When effort is applied inside a capped system, the result is predictable. You hit a ceiling and stay there. That ceiling is what most people mistake for real life. From a young age, we're taught to be dependable. Show up on time, follow instructions, do more than expected. These traits make you valuable to systems, but not powerful within them. Being needed is not the same as being free. The modern economy doesn't reward who works hardest. It rewards who owns systems, who controls distribution, and who can scale outcomes beyond their time. If your income stops when you stop working, your effort is trapped. And trapped effort can never compound. This is where the hard work trap begins. People double down on effort instead of questioning the structure they're in. When progress stalls, the instinct is to push harder, not step back. That instinct keeps people busy, but not advancing. Most jobs are designed around linear exchange. You trade hours for money, and the transaction ends there. No matter how good you are, the upside is limited by time. This is why raises feel insignificant compared to rising costs. Saving money alone doesn't solve this problem. Saving preserves what you earn, but it doesn't change how you earn. You can be disciplined, frugal, and responsible, and still stuck. Preservation without expansion leads to stagnation. The middle-class financial model was built for a different era. It assumed rising wages, stable costs, and long-term security. That environment no longer exists, but the advice remains. Following outdated rules in a changed game leads to frustration. People often confuse safety with progress. A stable paycheck feels reassuring, even when it's slowly losing purchasing power. Stability can quietly become a cage, and cages are hardest to see when they feel comfortable. What actually separates financial momentum from financial stagnation is leverage. Leverage allows one unit of effort to produce results repeatedly. Skills, systems, media, and ownership all create leverage. Without at least one of these, effort stays linear. High-income skills are one form of leverage, but only when paired with autonomy. Skill alone inside someone else's system still has limits. The moment your output can be multiplied, packaged, or distributed, your effort changes character. It stops being consumed and starts being reused. Another overlooked form of leverage is environment. Who you're around determines what you see as normal. If everyone around you trades time for money, that becomes the default reality. Exposure shapes ambition more than motivation ever will. Most people don't lack discipline. They lack proximity to better models. When you never see scalable thinking in action, it's hard to imagine alternatives. This is why changing inputs often matters more than trying harder. Financial growth rarely feels like hustle at first. It feels like learning, restructuring, and delayed payoff. This phase is uncomfortable because it doesn't provide immediate validation. But this is where trajectories change. The biggest shift happens when effort is redirected from output to setup. Instead of asking, "How can I work harder?" the question becomes, "How can this work without me?" That question changes everything. It moves you from labor to architecture. Systems don't require constant motivation. Once built, they operate with consistency. This is why wealth often looks boring from the outside. The excitement is in the creation, not the maintenance. This doesn't mean quitting your job overnight or taking reckless risks. It means understanding that your job can fund your escape, not define your future. Stability can be used strategically instead of emotionally. The key is intentional transition, not rebellion. Every meaningful financial shift starts with awareness. Awareness of the rules you're playing by. Awareness of where effort is leaking instead of compounding. Awareness that being busy is not the same as building. If you feel stuck despite doing everything right, that feeling is data. It's signaling that the strategy, not the effort, needs to change. The moment you see the game clearly, you stop blaming yourself. And once blame disappears, direction becomes possible. This is where real progress begins. Once you recognize that effort alone isn't the answer, the next step is responsibility, not blame. Responsibility means accepting that no system is coming to rescue you. It also means realizing that this is empowering, not discouraging. When the outcome is in your hands, so is the solution. Most people wait for clarity before they act, but clarity usually comes after movement, not before it. Small strategic actions reveal information that thinking alone never will. Momentum creates insight. This is why people stay stuck in learning loops. They consume books, videos, and advice, hoping for certainty. But certainty is the reward for engagement, not preparation. At some point, thinking becomes avoidance dressed as productivity. The goal isn't to know everything. The goal is to know enough to move forward intelligently. Progress favors those willing to adjust, not those waiting to be perfect. One of the most powerful mindset shifts is understanding delayed results. Systems-based thinking rarely pays immediately. There is often a quiet phase where effort seems invisible. This phase eliminates most people. Early effort in leveraged paths feels unrewarded because the payoff compounds later. This is why quick wins are so seductive and so dangerous. They train you to expect instant feedback from a game that rewards patience. Most financial breakthroughs look boring before they look impressive. They start with consistent inputs that don't yet justify the output. But once momentum clicks, progress appears sudden from the outside. In reality, it was earned slowly. If you quit during the quiet phase, you reset the clock. Every restart costs more than staying consistent. Endurance, not intensity, is what unlocks compounding. Another misunderstood principle is identity alignment. People try to change outcomes without changing self-perception. But actions always follow identity. You won't build wealth while subconsciously seeing yourself as someone who just gets by. Identity shifts happen through evidence. Each small win reinforces a new self-image. That's why manageable, repeatable actions matter more than dramatic moves. They quietly rewire how you see yourself. Your environment either supports this shift or resists it. If your surroundings reinforce scarcity thinking, progress becomes heavier. This isn't about cutting people off. It's about choosing your inputs deliberately. What you consume daily shapes what you believe is possible. When your identity evolves, your decisions follow automatically. Discipline becomes less necessary because alignment does the work. This is how sustainable change actually sticks. If this message resonated with you, remember this: principles never expire. What thinkers and builders understood over a century ago still applies today. Wealth and freedom are built on timeless habits, not shortcuts or hype. The tools change, but the laws don't. The sooner you anchor your life in these principles, the sooner financial freedom stops feeling abstract and starts becoming practical. This isn't about chasing trends. It's about committing to fundamentals that compound over time. Consistency aligned with principle always wins. If you found value here, do 3 things. Subscribe so you don't miss the next lesson designed to sharpen your mindset and your strategy. Like this video so more people can discover these ideas and apply them in their own lives. And in the comments, share which principle you're choosing to focus on. Whether it's leverage, patience, identity, or environment. Name it, claim it, and commit to it. This is your space to learn, to grow, and to step into financial freedom. Until next time, live by principle, and let those principles lead you to prosperity.